よいしょ。and I'll share my screen だな。画面、スライドショー。画面をやっちゃって大丈夫かな。もう一回スライドショーにした方がいいかな。OK。これどうやるんだっけ、詳細で。これで非表示にすれば、これも表示しなければ、OK。これでいいですかね。ちょっとだけど、画面がちっちゃいんだよね。嫌だよね。どうしたらいいんだろうな。ちょっと待ってくださいね。ごめんなさい。まずいちゃってるね。すいません。あんまり見せたくない。多分解像度下げたら綺麗になるんじゃないかと期待するんですが、どうすればいいのかな。あれ出てない。あ、これか。これが、いや、これだね。これがそうなんだね。すみません。あ、なるほど。調する複製する複製がいいかな。で、OK。これが、横長これかな。これでどうだろう。縦長になったかな。わかんないな。あ、良くなったかな、これで少しは。それで、あ、ちっちゃいなんで多分これ、ディスプレイの設定だよね。スライドショーで、モニターを自動じゃなくてプライマリーにして発表者ツールを使わなければ、出てくれ。ああ、ちっちゃいですね。少しちっちゃい。まあ、さっきよりマシですかね。変わらない。まあ、しょうがないですね。OK。では始めたいと思います。ズームもやんなきゃいけない。めんどくさいね、やっぱ、ズームと両方やるのは。と、これか。画面共有で。しょうがないな。画面共有するしかないか。それで、フローティングなんちゃらの表示と最初。で、OK。good morning, everyone. From today, this is a class for class named Virtual Reality and Interaction. And today I will introduce what is virtual reality. And I'm sorry, my update is a bit late, and on T2 から I've tried to put some link. どこだっけ ?T2 からには。出てこないな。そっか。Now T2 から is very heavy です。Sorry. じゃあ、いっか。Then later, but I've tried to, put, link to slide, and, but I didn't update, T2 slide itself. So please see the link. The link is to, どこだっけな I think, here is link. This link. Please click this link, then you will get the slide. And also, so this is linked to the slide. and this is another material. And the quiz is the, なんだろうね、small test for each class. I will try to put a small test on each class, so please submit it until the next class. If you, I think, no, if you, あれこれ出てきたな。ローティング。これですね。So this is a quiz. So, please answer and submit it. If you cannot open it, please let me know. Okay, then I'll back to the slide. So the plan, this is the schedule and the plan of this class. So today is introduction to virtual reality, and on Friday I'll talk about how to design a good virtual reality system. And in class 3, metaverse, collaborative virtual environment, and character motion. And in class 4, I'd like to ask you to prepare a poster, and a poster presentation be done in class 4 at here. So please prepare なんだろうね、printed or handwritten poster for class 4. During the class 4, I'll give feedback, and you may update the poster. So maybe it's better to handwriting and just update on time. That may be better. So you don't have to prepare a very concrete poster. I will explain soon. And in the final class, class 14, I will ask again a poster presentation. And in this presentation, you have to finalize, not finalize, you have to put all content and also try to get the feedback and update it. And finally, please submit the final poster. I'll prepare the submission page in this color later. いいですかね。もう一度日本語でも言いますね。クラスの授業のスケジュールはこんな感じなんですけど、4回がポスター発表、それから14回もポスター発表です。で4回は途中の状態というか、書き始めぐらいのつもりです。なんで、もしかしたら手書きで、この場で作ってもらった方がいいかもしれないぐらいですけど、ちょっとは準備してきてください。考えてきてくださいというのが、4です。で、14は全部の内容を入れてもらって、でもフィードバックをここで他の人に見せたりしてもらって、で、それを入れて、最終版を提出するということにしたいと思います。それから評価については、書きましたけども、ピースカラーの方に書いたんですけど、7割がポスターで、毎回のテスト、クイズを、3割にしたいと思います。I will evaluate 70% by poster and the 30% by the quiz for each class. Next, I'll talk about the poster presentation. I'd like to ask you to create a poster for proposal for new VR or virtual reality or XR means the なんだっけ XR is what is X, but XR means augmented reality or the mixed reality or virtual reality or substitute reality or such kind of virtual reality related to technology. And so such a system such which utilize such technology is the target to propose. And the poster in class 4 is expected to explain the purpose of the application of the system. Application or the usage or purpose. And so what is the purpose of the system should be explained. And also, to realize such a purpose or such application, in the system, people user do something with the system. So what kind of activity or action are required for the purpose must be explained. So this is important. I'll explain with the example later. But if you create some virtual reality system, in the system, people do something. It's the same to, I think, the computer system. If you create some web application, then the user will choose some menu or writing some text, their activities. But in the case of a virtual reality system, people can not only just using the mouse and the keyboard, but also use the whole body interaction, or the speaking, or using the facial expression, or moving the head, so that there will be various activities, various actions, and that can consist of various activities. So it's better to first identify what kind of activity will include it in the to realize the purpose. And then you can list up the requirements for the system. What must be realized will be identified. So this is, I think, the activity to decide the specification of your virtual reality system. And after that, I'll talk about technology, science and technology for virtual reality. So there are technique to display or to measure human motion or to display some information to human. So there technology for virtual reality. I'll explain these individual technologies. So please use these technologies to realize this system, your system. And then you can say in the final poster, you can also write about the function that is required in the system and how to realize such system. So this realization requires, I think, these technologies. Okay. So in class 4, so up to requirements. And in class 14, also include the realization, implementation of the system. いいかな。わかりました。日本語でも言うね。ポスターは2回で、最初の方では目的と用途、応用用途についてまず説明して、その目的のために必要な活動とか動き、バーチャルリアリティのシステムの中ではいろんな活動ができますので、どんな活動をしたらそのやりたいことができるか。何かできるようにするにはシステム作んなきゃいけないので、何が必要かをちゃんと個別に見ていくことが大事ですね。で、システムへのソフト要求がわかるはずというのが1回目のポスターの内容です。皆さんに考えて書いてもらうのに対して私はフィードバックをします。I'd like to ask you, try to create this part, activity and actions, as concrete as possible. It's better to try by yourself, moving by your body, using your body. You can try to actually move in your room, for example, or sit down on the chair. It depends on, of course, the purpose or the application. But such concrete activities activity is very important to list up the requirements. ここのところ、本当に具体的にやってほしいんですよね。本当にこういう動きが必要だねっていうのをやってみてほしいということです。で、最後のポスターは必要な機能とそれをどう実現するかについても書いてほしくて、それは、この辺を、の個別の技術ですね。 バーチャルリアリティを実現する個別の技術を、見ればわかるという、そういうを入れてもらうという形でやっていただけたらと思っています。いいでしょうか。で、ちょっと今、I've tried to create an example for class 4, not in posters form, but I just list up and try to explain the example. まあ、not so interesting あんまり面白くない例ですけれども、例を一つ考えていました。部屋の模様替えをするとして、example of examination of the feasibility of the room redecoration or rearrangement of furniture in room。部屋の模様替えをしたいと思ったときに、できるかどうか確認するというためのシステムを VR で作ろう。そういうことを考えます。Sometimes it takes a lot of time and if the furnitures are very heavy, then you have to you will move it once and move another place again and again, so that take a lot of time or you will exhaust or tired to move the furnitures. So if you can examine it before moving real furnitures, it will be very useful. So that is the purpose of the system in this example. Then the activity or the actions will be included. So the first user will need to walk through and confirm the usability of the room. User will place and arrange the furniture. And after that, the user will walk through and confirm the usability of the room. They will need to go through the gap of furniture. For example, if I have to go in this gap, that one to be confirmed after arrangement of the furniture in virtual world. And also, maybe I have to check if I can reach some object on the shelf. That must be also tested. So there are activities, main activities I think these two. But to realize these activities, before that, user need to model actual room. The room must be created in virtual world. For that purpose, I think 3D scan using, for example, iPhone, then you can scan 3D using LiDAR, you can scan the shape of the room. 3D shape can be captured by such system. Then such data can be used as a virtual world. But usually, furniture is also put in the room. So the furniture will also captured at once. So after that, you will need to cut out furniture from the room data because the room with the furniture will captured. So you have to specify which part is the furniture and must cut out them. Then you can move it and place the furniture. So this part is needed before testing. And then this once specify these list of activities needed, then you can write the requirements for the system. This may be a lot. So maybe exhaustive list will be too long to read. So you may pick up some important list, specification requirements. In this case, to test if go through the gap is possible or not, avatar will be important. If the avatar size is different from the actual user's body, then the test have no meaning. So the avatar size, avatar which resembles the user's body will be needed. And also collision detection to test reaching and go through will be needed. And finally, how to realize in final cost. But for class 4, you don't have to prepare the implementation. Any questions or comments on this topics? And from Zoom の人見えてるのかな？置いてるかな？あれ？ Zoom の人聞こえてますか？ OK。OK。OK、thank you。OK。いいかな？OK。どうぞどうぞ。いいですよ。ポスターのサイズって。ポスターサイズ、I recommend A3 サイズ。わかりますかね？ A3 サイズ。But if you cannot, you don't have A3 サイズ、A4 is good. 大きい方が見やすいんで、気にしました。なんでもいいです。それは。カフェかな？それは。ありますか？4は、リクラスとああいう、クラストライクに関して、also, try to show you a concept of other then you will have toね。
すいません。すいません。
to the main
聞こえてないか。
talk. So, today, first I'll talk about history of media and virtual reality. So, なんだろう。human is, makes society, a community, and work together from ancient days. So the communication is very important from ancient days. So the conversation is considered the most natural and basic communication method. But from ancient days, they also draw some pictures. So the painting, I think this is one of the very early medium. And in addition to painting, there is another media that's called oral tradition. 日本語だと口伝っていうんですよね。oral tradition. So, this is cultural material and tradition transmitted orally from one generation to another. This is not just a conversation, but usually they have some story. So if there is an interesting story, then it's easy to remember. So the people can talk the story to and remember the story and transmit it from generation to generation. And sometimes, じゃないかな、most cases, they also include some music or in some cases dance. So the, it's a, なんだろうな。after that, this oral tradition evolved into theater or drama as a play. So, so there is mainly two kinds of art. One is performing art. Another is, how to say, art that is, fixed on some medium. So, that is start from ancient days painting and the oral tradition. This is the ancestor of performing art. Okay. And after that, so later, writing system is invented. The writing system is not, まあ、なんだろうね、あれでしょ、when we born, we don't, we cannot, あれですね。Of course, we cannot talk, but during, even in ancient days, baby studied how to talk and baby studied language from their family or their community. But the writing system was not exist. To run the writing system, we have to study specifically for writing system. And so that there is a big difference in the generation じゃなくて、なんだ in the history, the writing system, start of writing system is far after the communication, conversation. And more recently, printing start. So this is this kind of wood block is used to make the printing. So before printing, people must handwrite everything. So the writing system as exists, but books or printed material is not so widely spread. But after printing, number of publications increased. But still, printing takes a lot of cost. It was changed by movable type. Do you know movable type? これ見たらわかるかなこれなんだかわかる人。ムーバブルタイプ。ムーバブルタイプなんですかわかったら言ってみてください。これは何だろう知ってる日本語では活字ですね。はい。印刷するときに作る、コインプリンティングですね。Before movable type, you have to create this kind of wood block for each publication. One page requires one wood block. But with movable types, you don't have to create the block from scratch. You can pick up each character. So there, each character, and just put them on this box. Then you get the block to print. So the number of publication increase like this. So it's movable type is invented around 1450. So and after that, the number of copies, number of printed books increase remarkably, very quickly. And this means before movable types, the books are very expensive and not for general public. Only very small part of people in society can read books. But after movable type, most people comes to possible to read printed materials. And also, newspaper comes to possible. Before movable types, so you cannot create printing every day. It takes a long time to create a block. But using movable types, printing takes less than 1 day. So the daily newspaper comes to possible. And that makes, that moves the Europe from Middle Age to modern era. And democracy occurs because the general public know many things by newspapers or other mass media. Mainly at that time, a newspaper. So the people comes to more, know more about their society, and then that they say something on the society. So the democracy was realized. And after that, after Gutenberg, big change occurs in 1960 something, 94, 1950 or 60. Electric media was invented, radio and television at the beginning. And Marshall McLuhan is researcher かな or なんて言えばいいんだろう。リサーチャーですね。on media. At the beginning, he was research on education. But soon he find because of this kind of radio and TV, mainly TV ですね。Television changed the children. So, he faces the changing of the media. So, he researched on the, he write about how the media changed the people. And his very famous book is Understanding Media, the Extensions of Man. メディア論、人間の拡張の手法っていうのが日本語のタイトルです。He said that media extends human sense. And his book is a bit not well structured, a bit difficult to understand. So I'll talk about his book based on this one, Schoolman's Guide to Marshall McLuhan by Johan M. Carkin. This is, there is a link here. So this is a link to theペーパーというか、ペーパーなのかなリビューペーパー。And also, there is a Japanese book. うるさいね。ごめんなさい。どうしたらいいんだっけこれ。集中モードとかにすればならないですよね。集中モードってどうすればいいんだ大丈夫になってますよね。なんで、すいません。Okay. So, I will explain what Marshall McLuhan said in his book. He said the media is a message. And this is a bit strange. Media, what is media? Media is something that conveys the message. So media itself is usually considered not a message. So media means like radio or TV, television or internet or Twitter. They convey the message. But he says the medium is the message. So this is a strange sentence. But this has four meanings. The medium is things you are missing. Everybody looks on content. So he wants to say, pay attention to form, structure, and a framework medium that you perceive. And the relationship of the medium to the content. So it is always content in form which is mediated. When you get some message, you also perceive the medium. That is always mediated. So you also perceive the medium. So the medium is core message. With the contents, you always get the medium, perceive medium. So the medium also なんだろうね。give you some information. So the medium is core message. And the third one is more important, I think. Medium alters the perceptual habit of its users. In the process of developing content, the medium also works over the sensorium of the consumer. So when we perceive some information through some media, our way to sense, our way to perceive the information is changed. And he also pointed out the relationship of medium to society. The media massage the society as well as the individual. This is a joke. This is not a message, massage. Actually, the media change the society or individual with the users, the consumers, gradually. So he say it's like massage. So this is the meaning of so medium is message. 日本語はこうですね。いいですよね。日本語で見ます。説明しなくていいかな。大丈夫ですかね。And Marshall McLuhan also pointed out five postulates, ages かな、on media。5つの時代っていうことを言ってます。メディアについての。最初、the first one is ancient days. before Christ ですね。1967 is when he wrote this book. It was 1967. So the at AD. So he start from BC 1967. So the all senses get into the act. The reality which bombards him from all directions is picked up with the omnidirectional antenna of sight, hearing, touch, smell, and taste. 自然の中で、in nature, ね、in the nature, in the wild ですね、people, may hunt. They are hunter-gatherer, so that they hunt animals or they gather some eatable, edible plants. During such activity, all sense ですね、acts at once. Sight, hearing, touch, smell, and taste. So, reality which bombards him from all directions. And this is one evidence of such meaning ですね。Eskimos travel without visual bearings in their white on white world and can sketch a cartographically accurate map of the shifting of shorelines. They have 40 or 50 words for what we call snow. They live in the world without literally a word of acoustic space. Eskimo, in these days ですね、Eskimos still live in their living style. They keep the very hunter-gatherers living style. They keep. So in such communities, they don't use literature, writing system. Instead, they are talking. And because they live in such white on white world, they have they can distinguish their environment, and the world itself is different from people living in different places. So they have 40 or 50 words for what we call snow. And also they can draw create a very accurate map. If we go to such environment, we cannot distinguish snows. So we cannot draw accurate map. but they can distinguish snows. So that they, for them, snow itself comes to landmarks. So they can write the very accurate maps, accurate maps. This is the first postulate ですね。はい。second ですね。the next ですね。Art imitates life. Art here means the art and technology or state of art. So rather than fine art, the meaning of art here means the technology. And this is Edward T. Hall is another researcher, but who writes about the who writes the thesis that explain that all art and technology is an extension of some physical or psychic element of man. ちょっとわかるかな。This is, so for example ですね。Today, man has developed the extension for particularly everything he used to do with his body. The example is stone axe for hand, or the coil for foot instead of walking using a car, or glasses for eyes, or radio for voice and ear. So, this medium is an extension ですね。So not only the Edward T. Hall says that not only the medium but also the all art and technology is the extension of some physical or the psychic element of man. So we what we do using technology is an extension of our sensory or the motor system. That is it's pointing out. And through the electric media of telegraph, telephone, radio, and television, man has now equipped his world with a nerve system similar to one within his own body. So our body have a nerve system, and the brain can get the information through our nerve system. But using technology, we also create the external nerves in the world. So now using the electric media, nerve system is extended. And now in electric age, our extended faculties and the sense constitute a single instantaneous and coexist field of experience. It's all at once. It's shared by all. So the McLuhan called this world a global village. In the small village, people can know other people's activity directly because he can hear their voice or he can watch what the others do. So, but now in electric age, because of the such electric media, we can perceive the directly with our all sensory modality. So it's like the all people live in a small village and get the information of each other. So he pointed at such things. Of course, there is a limit that one person can perceive, information that one person can perceive. So the people living in the world, the whole world cannot be make a small village. So I think the global village have too much population, so that they cannot get understand each other. But instead, in actual things that we face is, I think, the more small village is generated, created, but that is not depends on the place, but the people's interest create such small villages. ですね。こういう。これも日本語で読まなくてもいいよね。OK。And third one ですね。Life imitates art。this is important ですよね。だから、そうです。こっちは、art imitates life。そうで、our media technology imitates the human nervous system. But the third one is, life imitates art. When we create some tools, for mainly communication, then the tool shapes us. So so extension of our sense begin to interact with our senses because we create some tools to perceive something. So our sensory system also changes. And the new change in environment creates new balance among the senses. And the sense ratio will differ for different media. So this is what mainly McLuhan wants to say. The nature of the sensory effect will be determined by the media used. McLuhan divides the media according to the, sorry, before this, I have to say that, やっぱりその次に書いてあるのかな。こっちがいいですね。そう、life imitates art なんですね。違うか。そうそう。life imitates art means that human changed by その art and technology. And what he wants to say is, people create a writing system. We shape the alphabet, and it shaped us. Because we create the literary media, writing system and the printing media, or the movable types. So that changed our way to thinking or understanding. But now we are not in the in such postulates. So it's a bit different. So please consider this is written in 1960s. So before the electric, just electric media born. And that's, what he pointed out is the structure of literary media. Structure of writing system was a printing media is straight line. So this is an example. As an example, while lecturing in a large audience in modern hotel in Chicago, a distinguished professor is bitten in the leg by cobra. The whole experience takes only 3 seconds, but he affected through the touch of the reptile, the gasp of the crowd, the swinging sight before his eye, and his memory, imagination, and the emotion comes into emergency action. A lot of things happen in 3 seconds. 2 weeks later, he is fully recovered, and I want to write up the experience in a letter to a colleague. To communicate this experience through print means that it must first be broken down into parts and then mediate, eyedropper fashion, one thing at a time, in abstract, linear, fragmented, and sequential way. That is the essential structure of print. ですかね。Once、これ、例ですね。これ日本語書いたっけな。これ日本語書きましたね。これも面白いから。公演中にコブラに噛まれたという状況があると、その後3秒間にすごいいろんなことが起きました。だけど2週間後に治ったから、手紙でこういうことがありますとって書こうと思うと、もう一回その起きたことは3秒で起きたことなのに、読むときにはなんか何分もかかるわけですね。3分以上かかるような、こう一つずつばらして、それを一個ずつ書いていくと。で、こう直線的で断片化されて抽象化された、そういう書き方じゃないと伝えられなくなっちゃうんですよ、印刷だと。ということを言ってるわけですね。 once culture uses such medium for a few centuries, it begins to perceive the world in one thing at a time, abstract, linear, fragmented, and a sequential way. And it shapes its organization and schools according to the same premise. The form of print has become the form of thought.これがすごいですね。考え方が変わっちゃうんですね。And the electronic media have broken the monopoly of print. And after that, after the printing, so electronic media is invented, then it's broken by the electronic media. The monopoly of print is broken. They have altered our sensory profiles by heightening our awareness of aural, tactile, and kinetic values. 文字でやってるうちは、に比べて、聴覚とか触覚とか運動ですね、の意識を高めるようになりましたっていう、そういうことを指摘しています。And after that ですね、after 1967, all senses want to get interact. So, not only the visual and eyedrop fashions, linear, printed media, but also all senses is used to perceive information. And as the early warning system of art and popular culture indicates, all senses want to get interact. Some of excess of the current excursion of oral, tactile, and kinetic experience may in fact be directly responsive to the sensory deprivation of the print culture. In 1967, there was such movement in the society. So, this was explanation about Marshall McLuhan's media and understanding media as an extension of man. And this is this slide is my idea. So in ancient days, we perceive we can get a direct experience and utilize our all sensory system. But after that, printing starts, so it comes to linear sequential media. And after that, electronic media starts, and the multimedia and the virtual reality. So finally, virtual reality is now widely spread. And the virtual reality, the most big difference between the media before and the virtual reality is, I think, virtual reality can generate a direct experience. So now we finally back to the ancient days. In ancient days, people basically get the information through direct experience and the conversation. But now, using virtual reality and the metaverse, people directly experience the world and also talk to each other. So, I think the metaverse is back to the ancient days. This is very interesting. How to say, changing of media. So, for usability, people, of course, direct conversation is easier, the more natural way to communicate. But that cannot be recorded or cannot bring to file. So the printing media is widely spread. But because of the electronic media, it has changed. And finally, we reached to the direct experience, which was mainly utilizing from ancient days. ということですね。まあ、of course, after 1980s, World Wide Web was the Internet is widely spread. まあ、with, まあ、and Internet realized also the not only just passive information. At the beginning, World Wide Web is also the literary and the mass media, so the people perceive the information through World Wide Web. But after that, Web 2.0 comes, and it comes bi-directional, and but still literary media. And but after that, YouTube or the Instagram info video, they are all multi-modal media and not リテ、そう、リテラルand serialized media. And finally, virtual reality comes, I think. Okay, so next, I want to explain the one idea to distinguish virtual reality and other media. For example, video game is very similar to virtual reality, I think. But, that is not so, easy to, なんていうんだろうな、compare. So I want to introduce one idea to categorize かな、to place the mediums. That is, AIT cube, which is, coined by David Telter, who published this in 1992. He placed three axes: autonomy, interaction, and presence. わかるかな？ Autonomy is, そう。まあ、バーチャルワールドですね。バーチャルリアリティ should have these properties. His, claim is virtual reality should have these three properties: autonomy and interaction and presence. So autonomy means the virtual world is simulated in real time, so it autonomously changes. Even without any interaction by user, the world is changing. This is autonomy. And next one, interaction. Interactivity means if you do something, if you give some input to the world, then that changes the world. So you can change the world. This is the interactivity. And the presence means display as if you are there. So not only presence, but also autonomy and interaction is needed. That is his pointing out. So autonomy and presence and interaction is needed. And many media can put map on this cube. So virtual reality is here. All three components is one. So virtual reality has all three properties. But for example, a word processor, Microsoft Word, for example, have interactivity, interaction. You can edit the text. So you can input, then you can change the word. In this case, just a text, but the text is word processor. So the word processor is here, but there is no autonomy for the presence. So word processor is placed here. And, so planetarium, for example, will have presence, but may have some autonomy ですね。because planetarium, in planetarium, stars are moving based on the because Earth is moving, stars moving. So this changes the what we see. So the planetarium have some autonomy, so maybe placed here. and completely, you can feel as if you are under the sky. So the planetarium will be placed around here. そうですね。あとは何かかな。if there is immersive computer-aided design system, then it will have presence and interactivity, but no autonomy. If autonomy exists, then if you draw something, then it changes automatically. And such a computer-aided design system cannot be used, I think. So this kind of word processor or the computer-aided design cannot have the autonomy. But the virtual reality will have. And how about video games? Video games usually have some autonomy, and some interactivity, and some presence. So it's, I think, intermediate. So, using the AI P-cube, the relationship of the medium can be illustrated on this cube. And so, video games are, I think, very similar to virtual world. The difference is very small, I think. And video games also try to express the virtual world from the beginning. So this is the first video game, Space War. It already have some world. It have a spacecraft and the space itself. And this is phone. In the case of the phone, the user's avatar is rocket, and this is represents the board, and this is net. So this kind of very old games also try to express virtual world. Interesting なんだろうな。alternative example is, I think, Colossus of Cave Adventure. This game is based on text. So the player types something, then the system returns some information by text. In this case, I think interaction and autonomy autonomy is not exist, only interaction. Presence, for presence, I'm not sure. Maybe text writing gives you some presence in the world. But ちょっと難しいかな。そうですね。the game state is, related to the player via text output. So this is completely text-based computer game. How fair to place this game is a bit difficult, I think. But maybe have some 対話ですね。Interaction is exists, so that's similar to word processor. But some presence exists. And after that, some games started to generate the world itself by themselves. And recently, I like this game. 出るかな。おっと、うるさい。そうそう。この人ですね。he was game journalist. His name is Kiyoshi Shin. He was a game journalist, but once Oculus starts to sell the head-mounted display, he starts to develop virtual reality game like this. This is using sword and battle, but what he realized is actually collide sword and sword actually collide and not characters that not through, so they can push the enemy. I think this is very, まあ、early and interesting game and good idea to realize the reality. まあ Okay, next I will talk about the なんだろうね。ここが来てますね。大丈夫。後で。next I'll talk about virtual reality as a dream. あの、when virtual reality, the idea of virtual reality, アイディアっていうか、I want to introduce some people who try to create a virtual reality, at the beginning. So, this is, and also how the virtual reality is realized. This is one example of virtual reality system which I create. So, this is a virtual canon system. So, in those days, in 2000, the projector can generate a very clear image. But the head-mount display does not have enough resolution. So, head-mount display is not so popular. Instead, this kind of projection-based virtual reality system was very popular. So, after ですね、2012ですね、コマーシャルand not commercial, 2012, Oculus DK was started to sell, so the HMD comes to easy to use. So the HMD is also often used. But in both cases, ね、in virtual reality, let's consider what is virtual reality. Virtual reality is an experience of a world, but maybe the word world is too large. So maybe a scene of a world in a computer. World is in a computer. And that's and VR and virtual reality is experience of a world in a computer. So the virtual reality, the word virtual reality itself is not explain about the system, but the experience itself is, I think, called as a virtual reality. And the virtual reality system is a system that provides such experience. So we need to consider how we perceive, how we recognize the world, the real world. When we recognize or experience the real world, we utilize our sensory motor system. We feel the world via our sensory system. And the world is in our mind, not in the outer environment. We recognize many sensory inputs, then the reconstruct from these inputs, we construct the world in our mind. And then based on the world, we move our body. So and as a result, the environment makes some change. Then the change is also perceived by our sensory system. And this loop, our sensory system and the motor system makes this loops. If this loop is made, then we can change the world and we can perceive the world. The world is in our mind, but by moving our body, we can change the outer environment. Then the change can be perceived. Then we feel as if we are in the world. if no change occurs, then even though you perceive the world, you cannot do anything. That means your body is not in the world. So this is cannot give a virtual reality experience. So this loop is important. And first head-mount display is that shows computer-generated image. It is developed by Ivan Sutherland in 1948, 68. So this is the image he created. So this HMD was augmented reality. So outside is shown, but computer graphics image is superimposed. And in this case, the head-mount display also measure the head rotation is measured by this potentiometer. Then this link measure the head position and the head rotation. And based on this kind of change of body position movement, what we perceive is also changed because the image is updated based on the viewpoint. So this loop is working in this case. In this case, changes viewpoint. So viewpoint is changed, so the perceived image is changed. So the user feels as if they are in the world. Of course, in this case, the graphics is just a cube, so not the world, but the one object. But as if the object is exist in the world, and we can perceive such sensation. And Ivan Sutherland also, of course, this is at the beginning, so the technology is not mature, so the very primitive image is written. But his dream was already same to the similar to recent research. So Ivan Sutherland dreams virtual reality. でも a bit different. we live in a physical world whose property we have come to know well through long familiarity. We sense an involvement with the physical world, which gives us the ability to predict the property well. For example, we can predict the where object will fall, how well known the shapes looks from other angles, and how much force is required to push object against the friction. But we lack corresponding familiarity with the forces on charged particles or force in non-uniform field, the effect of non-projective geometric transformation and the high inertia, low friction motion. この辺の these physics properties not difficult to create in real world. And he consider a display connected to digital computer gives us chance to gain familiarity with concepts not realizable in physical world. It's a looking glass into mathematical wonder. 最初そうで、the first application, Ivan Sutherland dream is scientific visualization. Because in real world we cannot perceive the motion of particles that is written by differential equation. If we have a differential equation, then we can simulate the motion of particles. And using the virtual reality system, we can perceive the such particles. That is not realized in real world. So to understand such mathematical concept, virtual reality system will be very useful. So at the beginning, he lists such application. But after that, he also says the ultimate display, so the ultimate, the ultimate display would, of course, be a room within which computer can control the existence of matter. かなり無茶なこと言ってるんですけど、a chair displayed in such a room would be good enough to sit on. Handcuff displayed in such a room would be confirming, and a bullet displayed in such a room would be fatal. With appropriate programming, such a display could literally be the wonderland into which Alice walked. そういうことを、This is an essay written in 1965. So before he created HMD, あと、what he want to make was this kind of, まあ、dream of virtual reality. Okay. まあ、まあ、of course, such, なんだろう、dream is exist, but actually, this kind of control of matter, existence of matter is pretty difficult. For example, making a display a chair requires making some object in the room. This may require using some robot, maybe, if you want to realize it. So the system comes to very complex and variety system. But the idea of virtual reality is very useful as a human-computer interaction or user interface. The way to use the application PC or smartphone is programmable and designable. So and it determines the interaction between users and computers. So so this is if there is application in computer, then we will do this kind of interaction. And in usual computer application, virtual reality is not used. Then the interaction can be very different from real world. Then we have to learn how to interact with that system. It takes time to get the skill to interact with. But in the case of virtual reality, because it's similar to the real world, so we already have a skill to interact. So by using idea of virtual reality or give some reality, then the user interface, human interface comes to easy to use for novice user. そうで、one of, なんていうかな、virtual reality, sometimes, good point というか、advantage. This is an advantage of virtual reality, I think. Even the dream is not realized, still virtual reality works, could work for human-computer interaction. Okay. そうですね。and also, when consider the human-computer interaction, Sketchpad is a famous application that is also made by the same person, Ivar Sutherland, in 1963. So he created Sketchpad first, and after that he created a head-mounted display and virtual reality. But in Sketchpad, this is first GUI, graphical user interface, and it resembles drawing by pen. And it also takes an advantage of computer. So they even you draw this kind of not aligned lines by clicking some function, you can change the shape. So the computer system make this image from hand drawing like this. So this is I think because of the computer, this kind of thing is possible. But he also tried to resemble the handwriting by pen. So the idea is also try to use the real, try to create but try to resemble the real world. So the kind of virtual reality. I think this is also the kind of virtual reality. This is not virtual reality, but utilize the advantage of computation. Okay. So finally, I want to introduce briefly history of virtual reality. This is the very brief history of virtual reality. どうだっけな。The ultimate display is written in 1965, and the first HMD is created by Ivan Sutherland in 1968. So here. But before that, なんだろうな。immersive image itself, immersive image というか display is tried to create it. And I think the first one is panoramic painting. So, as if you are in, not in real world, but the, not computer generated world, but, this system is, system というか、how to say that, this is kind of painting. So, this is, a building, and they are people, and the people come into from, I think, from here, and go to this place, and also can come to here. And inside of the wall of this building, so this is cylindrical building, and inside is painting. Very big painting is written on the inside. And when people see from this point, they feel as if they are in this scene, because the image is written far away, and also the very high resolution painting is exists. Then the people feel as if they are in that scene. So this kind of attraction, attraction is made in many places around this era, 70s and 80s. And from and the cybernetics is one of the idea, なんていうんだろうな、that comes from consider cybernetics treat the mechanical system or the electrical system and the biological, so animal or the human, all have the similar system. As a system, they are the same. They have the similar structure. So, control and communication. So the title is represents the meaning. So cybernetics or control and communication in the animal and the machine. So machine and animal both have the similar system. If you see them from the view of control or communication. That is idea of cybernetics. So I think this is a big change. Before that, human or animal is different from machine, very different from machine. So people cannot think about the similarity or the cannot think about how we perceive the world. But after this idea, I think based on this idea, I think Marshall McLuhan can say that understanding media and media is the extension of man, and also the Sutherland think about the try to reproduce the perceptual try to display the virtual world by using HMD, head-mount display. So these ideas come. So they also related. So I think that this is the start of virtual reality, my idea of virtual reality. And after that, research is gradually continued. And in 1989, the word virtual reality is coined. Before 1989, it's called artificial reality. So the word was different. It's already researched, but it's called artificial reality. And in 1989, Jaron Lanier is create a company. They sell the virtual reality equipment, and they named their system as virtual reality. So the word virtual reality is not new, but the idea of virtual reality is not so new. And after that, academic research is continued. And at around 2000 ですね。そう、research was, there was some research boom in United States here, and after that, Japanese university and research institutes start to research on virtual reality in this period. And there is also some boom, but after that, because of the cost of display, visual display, in these days, this kind of projection-based VR is used. And the problem of projection-based VR is it requires a large room and also the very expensive projectors. If you want to create a good immersive virtual world, then you have to create a special building because you need to show the image on the floor. If projection from ceiling, then the very high ceiling is needed. If you want to use back projection for floor, then the floor of that room must be special floor, and under the floor there must be the space for projection. So the special building was needed. So in those days, virtual reality was too expensive for most applications, so not so widely spread. And because of such reason, the application of virtual reality was not well spread, not spread to actual use. Of course, for example, flight simulation for pilot is of course used, but the number of requirements was very small. So for very special purpose and really needed. Without virtual reality, for example, the training for the pilot cannot be done because if it is done by actual aircraft, then the emergency training is impossible because aircraft is actually cause some accident if they do it in real world. So the virtual reality system is really needed for pilot training. So such application was often used, actually used, but more casual use, like for example, before making some building, you can check how the landscape is changed. That is if you use virtual reality system, you can check it before making that building. But for that purpose, the cost for virtual reality was too expensive in those days. But after 2012ね、オキュラスリフト、まあ、2013か、オキュラスリフト、so the first consumer HMD ですね、was sold. Then the virtual reality application for more なんていうんでしょうね、カジュアルユース、comes to realize. So that continue to recent まあ、boom of virtual reality. And そうですね。And after that, at that time, えー、まあ、first application, first killer content of virtual reality is considered, game is, the killer application, considered as a killer application of virtual reality. But, まあ、there is some freak who want to play game with virtual reality headsets, but not so widely spread. It's still, the number of users is increasing, but, まあ、less than I think expectation. But after that, people find that some people wear a head-mount display very long time when they use metaverse, like VR chat or cluster. So, recently, such application is expected to, まあ、なんだろうな、as a killer content of virtual reality. まあ、あと、there is also some too much expectation and some disappointment, I think, now. So, I think the metaverse boom will end in, まあ、in this year, I think. But, metaverse have some value still, so we will able to find a, まあ、more application utilize virtual reality, and that will continuously, まあ、develop and spreading. Okay, so, this is,まあ、brief, virtual history of virtual reality. Okay, so, this is all that I prepared today. あ、そっか、最後にサマリーですか。サマリー、そう。Today I'll talk about the history of media or experience. And, まあ、also talk about AIPQ, and also talk about virtual reality is realized by sensory motor loops between your body and environment. And VR realize natural interaction ですね。そうで、as a user interface ですね。まあ、it makes まあ、user interface easy to use. And introduce some history of virtual reality. And in the next class, I'll talk about how to create a good virtual reality system. Okay, so I'd like to conclude today's class. And there was one question about the poster size. ポスターサイズ、for the poster presentation in class 4, please prepare A3 size poster or A4 size poster if you cannot get A3 paper, and show it to other students. Okay, so I'd like to take, if you have any question, I'd like to take any questions or comments. はい。あります。はい。OK, then so then I'll conclude today's class. Thank you for coming. and see next this か、see this Friday ですね。